Scientists are studying samples returned to Earth from a historic mission to the asteroid Bennu. The final samples were retrieved this month when NASA managed to prise open a capsule that had been stuck shut since it returned in September. Krystel Knowles visited with a team of scientists at UCF that are part of the OSIRIS-REx mission.
Finally, after 7 years, NASA OSIRIS-REx is back on Earth. Scientists waiting patiently until the unmanned spacecraft traveled 200 million miles to reach asteroid Bennu and back.
Space economy.
Scientist Humberto Campins, a UCF physics professor and international asteroid expert, has been there since the beginning.
What was it like participating in this mission?
Oh, it's been the best thing that has happened to me professionally. I got asked to be on the team 13 years ago, and at that time the University of Arizona invited me onto the team to help them write the proposal that then they submitted to NASA, and we won.
Also part of the OSIRIS-REx team is UCF physics professor and planetary geologist Carrie Donaldson-Hanna.
Or other asteroids.
They collaborated on finding the best sampling site on Bennu by interpreting data from the asteroid's composition. This process taking hundreds of hours with no room for error.
How long did that process take?
The lab measurements took over 2 years. So I was making measurements well before we got to the asteroid. That continued while we got to the asteroid. And then, of course, the spacecraft was in orbit for a year, making detailed maps, spectral maps, trying to get complete maps for picking a sampling site.
The team is overjoyed the mission of collecting samples of rocks and dust went without a hitch. OSIRIS-REx made the 2.5-year journey back on Earth, but it would be another 4 months until scientists would get their hands on the samples.
Once the sample came back to Earth, they couldn't access it immediately. What happened?
Yeah, so it was really interesting because the sample capsule, we wanted to protect it from Earth's environment. We don't want Earth air to contaminate any of the sample. We really want to limit that interaction. And so the sample capsule was put into this plastic box, essentially. And they had developed tools that would be able to go into that plastic box and access and remove the nuts and bolts. But it was having a hard time actually getting the right torque with those tools. And so they had to develop an all-new tool that could go into the sample box and then get the right torque to undo those. And so now that's done, and we have access to the full sample that the spacecraft collected.
Researchers say if there's a way to mine asteroids like Bennu, then they could create fuel in space, making for a more sustainable space economy.
So when we think about going out into further parts of the solar system, we think about being out there for a long time. And so we have to have resources in space that we can access and use to keep humans out into space for longer periods of time.
So far, they had been able to test a few samples, finding evidence of carbon and water, bringing them one step closer to answering some key questions about our own origins.
Krystel Knowles reporting there. Okay, so what do scientists want to learn from this asteroid, Peter?
How did the universe begin? Yeah. And you know,
that's a question.
We always talked about unlocking the secrets of the universe or the mysteries of the universe, and this is another step. You know, what is that asteroid made of? How much carbon? Is there water anywhere in there? Could it have come from something that once supported some form of life? And is it part of the Big Bang? Have I left anything out?
No, it's all fascinating stuff. Where did we come from? Essentially, is what's trapped on this asteroid.